Alright, guys. Hi, my name is C.L. Creech. I am the author, creator, and publisher of a book called One Last Quest, and I'm reading that for you guys. Tonight we're going to start on chapter 9. If you haven't listened to the first 8 chapters in the introduction, you want to go back to do so, or you're going to be totally lost. I hope you guys are enjoying this. This is me reading my own work, so it's a little weird. I know I'm screwing up the voices, but hey, I hope everyone's having fun. Let's get on into chapter 9. Champion of Greythorne. After the first round, the group decided best to take a quick break to make sure Danny was okay before continuing. He was the healer of the group, so he insisted on healing himself. Got some mystical herbs that can restore my hit points, Danny said. Michelle and Rick had to make sure to distract Jackie long enough for Danny to sneak off into the woods to cure himself. They found an easy way to do this was to ask her about work. So this guy gave me a funny look as I was putting him in cuffs. I made sure he accidentally tripped and got a nice black eye before I put him in the squad car, Jackie said, explaining a recent arrest. Kelly took the time to sit by the lake and enjoy the view. Kelly was very much a nature enthusiast, but stayed on her phone a lot during this trip, just so she didn't have to look at and think about Danny. She did care for him at one time. She even thought he was the one, but of course she could never tell him that. After taking some time to cure himself in the woods, Danny returned to the group. He wanted to be there to see how the tournament ended. "Let's get this tournament finished!" Danny exclaimed, feeling much better. Jackie cast a concerned look toward Danny as everyone once again gathered around the battle circle. This time, Jackie and Kelly standing on opposite sides. "No need for introductions this time," Michelle said loudly. "The final round pits the mighty orc warrior Ugug against the charismatic wood elf druid Vorash. Contestants, enter the circle and prepare for combat." Each picked up their weapons and stepped in the circle. Jackie had a very fierce look on her face. Kelly thought it looked almost like a hungry wolf. "Fight!" Michelle screamed. Jackie let out a scream which Kelly thought sounded like a combination of a roar and a growl. Jackie then charged as fast as she could toward Kelly with her axe raised above her head. Kelly immediately dropped her daggers and jumped out of the circle. "I quit!" Kelly screamed as she backed out further away from the circle. "I don't want to die!" The others looked back and forth between Kelly and Jackie before Michelle declared, "Winner by forfeit, and tournament champion Ugug!" Jackie took the time to make sure everyone knew she won. She danced around the circle while swinging her axe over her head. Jackie knew she was the toughest in the group, and her win in the tournament just proved it. While Jackie was celebrating, Michelle picked her chosen weapon. Michelle then quickly rolled her 6-sided die to choose a replacement referee. Michelle assigned 2 numbers, each to Danny, Kelly, and Rick, then rolled her die on the ground. The roll came up 5, meaning that Rick would take her spot as referee. Once again, Jackie got her celebration out of her system. She and Michelle took their places on opposite sides of the circle, with Rick taking his place on the side between them. "This is the battle to determine the fate of Greythorne," Rick screamed. Fighting for all that is good and righteous in our world is our champion, whom we have to admit has a serious anger problem. Ugug." Jackie raised her axe above her head as the others clapped loudly for her. "And the challenger," Rick said with the voice of a sports announcer. Michelle stepped in the circle, holding her sword in her hands. "I am the vixen known as Vile," Michelle said with an almost sultry tone. "I'm the undead Lich Queen of the Dark Realm. I've come to Greythorne with the sole purpose of defeating your pathetic champion and taking full control for myself. My weapon of choice is the Great Sword of Death, which was forged specially for me by the Grim Reaper himself." Danny and Kelly both let out very loud boos as Jackie and Michelle stepped into the circle. "Ladies," Rick said calmly, "this battle will be contested under the same rules as the tournament. First fighter to 10 points wins. Let's keep it clean, agreed?" Michelle and Jackie both nodded in agreement. "Fight!" Rick yelled, making sure to stay far enough back to keep from getting hit. Both Jackie and Michelle charged quickly at each other with their weapons high in the air. Jackie swung her axe at Michelle's head, but Michelle ducked and taking the opportunity to swing her sword at Jackie's feet. Jackie jumped in just enough time for the blow to miss. Both took several swings at each other at close range, only to be blocked by the other's weapon. Finally, after doing this for a couple of minutes and both realizing they weren't getting anywhere, they spread apart and began circling each other. Jackie had been the aggressor for her first two fights. She knew Michelle was very smart and watched her. If anyone in the group could defeat her, it would be Michelle. Jackie decided to change up her strategy and fight defensively. If she let Michelle be the aggressor, she might be able to find an opening and land a killing blow. Jackie's strategy worked. After they circled each other a few times, Michelle charged at Jackie with her sword in the air. Jackie quickly sidestepped her, but couldn't resist the chance to do something that caused Michelle to let out a high-pitched squeal. "What happened?" Rick said, concerned that he missed something. Michelle covered her butt with one of her hands. She grabbed my butt!" Michelle exclaimed, pointing towards Jackie. "What's wrong, Sugar Cheeks? Want to disqualify me?" Jackie said with a laugh. Jackie was having fun and using a bit of psychological warfare at the same time. She felt this would be an effective strategy. "Let's just fight," Michelle replied with an aggressive but slightly confused tone in her voice. Jackie took Michelle's confusion as an opportunity to swing her axe toward Michelle's chest. Michelle deflected the blow with her sword while backing up a few feet. Michelle then quickly charged Jackie again, ducking Jackie's axe and catching solid hits to both of Jackie's legs. Michelle had still had forward momentum, allowing Jackie to land a hard blow to Michelle's back, knocking her to the ground. Michelle rolled over on her back, looking up at Jackie. Almost simultaneously, Jackie hit Michelle in the chest with her axe as Michelle stabbed Jackie in the chest with her sword. 6-5. Oog leads. A headshot from either can win, Rick exclaimed. Michelle rolled across the ground before quickly getting up. Again, Michelle charged Jackie. They exchanged several blows, both hitting the other's weapon. Finally, Michelle landed what Jackie considered to be a lucky shot across her stomach. 8-6. Vixen Nell leads, Rick shouted. "Give up. You can't win," Michelle said, taunting Jackie as they started circling each other once again. "The Adventurers of Greythorne never give up," Jackie screamed. Michelle ran forward as fast as she could, shoulder tackling Jackie. Both women dropped to the ground. Both women dropped their weapons as they rolled around on the ground for a moment. Finally, they stopped with Michelle on top of Jackie, straddling her waist. Michelle grabs her sword and holds it to Jackie's throat. 99% of the scum I bust couldn't take me down like that, Jackie said while trying to catch her breath. "I'm not a purse snatcher. I'm a queen," Michelle said with a smile while also trying to catch her breath. "That you are," Jackie said with a smile as she wrapped her fingers around the handle of her axe, which was on the ground beside Michelle. "But do you know what else you are?" "The new ruler of Greythorne," Michelle said with a smile. "Or were you going to say something like Cotton Cheeks?" "Cotton Cheeks? That doesn't make sense," Jackie said with a very confused tone. Jackie raised her axe behind Michelle's head before saying, "Nah, I was going to say dead." "Dead?" Michelle said asked confusedly. Jackie hits Michelle in the back of the head with the blade of her axe. "Ugug wins, 11-8, Rick exclaims as Michelle gets off Jackie, allowing her to stand up. "We did it!" Danny yelled with excitement. "The Adventures of Greythorne saved the world again!" Jackie pointed her axe at Danny, saying, "Who did what?" After a moment of hesitation, Danny exclaimed, "Ugug saves Greythorne again!" "That's more like it," Jackie said with a laugh. Just before Jackie celebrated by screaming, yelling, and bragging, Jackie was the boldest of the group. Or just as before, Jackie celebrated by screaming, yelling, and bragging. Jackie was the boldest of the group. While she did come across as rude or even mean at times, she had an energy that everyone could feel. Once Michelle realized how happy winning made Jackie, all Michelle could think was, Jackie deserved it. Guys, that's the end of Chapter 9. I hope you're enjoying this so far. I'm having a lot of fun reading this for you. I remember as I wrote the story, I'm getting a lot of those feelings back. What's your favorite character? Comment below. Let me know. Talk to you guys same time tomorrow.